Good evening, Miss Yani. So this is my video response for Activity 1. So Activity A, Question 1. Who is the first sender in the given conversation? So the first sender in the given conversation is Claire. And for number 2, the stimulus of the given conversation is Claire is inviting Lani over for a sleepover. So number 3 is who encoded the stimulus. So Claire is the one who encoded the stimulus, and the receiver of the first message is Lani. So for the 5th question, did Lani give feedback? Yes, Lani did give Claire a feedback. So what was the feedback given? The feedback that Lani gave to Claire was that her mom did not approve of her for a sleepover because the day after a Sunday night is a Monday, which is a school day. So after Lani gave feedback, what happened? After Lani gave her feedback, Claire cleared Lani's misconception and said that her invitation was meant for a Saturday night and not a Sunday night. So was there a breakdown in Claire and Lani's phone conversation? Yes, there was a breakdown in Claire and Lani's phone conversation, and that was the noise. What caused the miscommunication between the two over the phone when they talked earlier? Earlier, as I said, the noise was the cause of their miscommunication. Because of the noise, Lani misunderstood Claire's invitation and thought that the sleepover was on a Sunday night and not on a Saturday night. Was the given conversation successful? Why or why not? So for me, the given conversation is successful because Claire clarified the miscommunication between her and Lani. So that's my answer for Activity A. Now let's go to Activity B. So now let's talk about my answers for Activity B. So for Activity B, how does each model of communication help in improving communication? So what is communication? Communication is basically an interaction with oneself to another or to themselves, sending and receiving a message with each other. So let's first talk about the first model of communication, which is the linear communication. So this model will help us in improving our social skills, our public speaking, and even in interviews, because as the listener is listening to us, we will know that what we shared with them or the idea that we tried to convey to them is clear because we learned the linear communication. So the next model is the interactive communication. So the interactive communication, for example, is a Zoom call, a call in general, and a Google Meet meeting. So this is where the sender conveys their idea or their stimulus to the receiver, and the receiver will give their feedback to the sender. So this is a very important model to help improve our communication, because if the sender receives a feedback from the receiver, they will know if their message was properly conveyed or properly delivered and that the receiver understands it perfectly. So the interactive communication will help us improve our social skills, our communication skills, and so on and so forth. So for the last and final communication model, we have our transactional communication model. So this model will help us in improving our debating skills, our social, just like the interactive and linear communication, our social skills, and our critical thinking. So in transactional communication, the sender is not only a sender, but they are also the receiver, and the receiver is not only a receiver, they are also the sender. So that they are basically exchanging information or exchanging ideas with each other, and they are also giving feedback with each other. So this is a very important part of communication because also in interactive, the noise is the very crucial part of communication, because if your surroundings are noisy, the message that you are trying to convey might get cancelled out by the noise, and the receiver may not understand it, and it may cause misunderstanding and miscommunication. So I think that's all of the models which will help us improve our communication. So I think that's it for my video. I hope that I have answered this activity perfectly, and I hope that you understand what I am trying to convey, because what I'm doing right now is an example of the linear communication. That's all for this video. Goodbye.